What? What's that? Intel released a new GPU? Oh, cool! It's been almost a year and a half since the Intel Arc B580 launched, and that was a heck of a GPU for the price. Of course, it was kind of hard to get for the price, yada yada yada, and now we're here, and there are rumors that Intel might not be releasing more consumer-grade GPUs, at least for a generation, if not ever, which is a shame because their GPU technology has been absolutely insane, especially if you've been watching some of the Computex content we've been doing. Intel's GPUs have never been better. Just look at the mobile chips that they are putting out. It's crazy. But for us desktop users, the best we can get is some new Arc Pro grade gear. Specifically, the Intel Arc Pro B70. This one specifically comes from GPU manufacturer Maxsun, and the B70 Pro is a AI-focused card. I know. We've heard enough of it. Well, that's too bad because we're still going to talk about it, but also, this GPU is not just an AI card because it has 32 gigs of VRAM, it also has more Xe cores in it, which means maybe it'll be even better at gaming than the B580. Inside the box, we get a pretty bare bones package. We have a warranty card from Maxsun. We have the card itself, the connector, which is actually just a 14 pin, probably because this isn't gonna actually require the whole 450 watts of this connection, because this isn't gonna be pulling that much power. Here's the card. Touch the AI future. I'm doing it right now, honestly, you guys. I'm touching it right now, and it feels great. Furthermore, it says Maxsun, and then evolution knows no limits, which, the more you think about it, the less it makes sense, so do not dwell. It is a blower style card, and I think that the design on here is pretty cool. It kind of looks very arcane. It has this step design, which I think is pretty nice, which is gonna help give your blower fan that little bit more room when you have these all lined up together in some sort of workstation. And it looks like they maybe had a thought of potentially doing a blow through cooler here, because they have these weird cutouts, but it just goes to this kind of the metal backplate that is under here. It looks like this entire part of this GPU kind of exists for the power delivery that's all the way over here. While putting your power connector at the end might not be typical for a consumer grade GPU these days, when you're gonna be lining these up in a server or workstation, it's gonna be way easier to just route the cables out the end. I actually like this because I think that so many good-looking graphics cards are absolutely ruined by having a big chunky cable just kind of jutting out of the side of it. It's especially a problem on NVIDIA GPUs. For our I/O, we have 3 DisplayPort 2.1 and 1 HDMI 2.1A. Pretty standard stuff, and thus concludes the exterior tour. A GPU isn't really that interesting unless it's doing something, so we're gonna plug it into the bench right after we tell you about our sponsor.
Listen, I've seen your tech deck skills. They're pretty impressive. But your fingers, man, they're just not gonna cut it out in the note-taking world. Some things are easier to say than type, and Plaud knows this. Their NotePin S is a hands-free AI memory companion designed for capturing ideas and conversations throughout the day. So no more leaving a meeting or a brainstorming sesh just to realize, I don't remember half the conversation. It can transcribe over 100 languages, is lightweight, and can even help you search for specific parts of the conversation. Get 10% off the Plaud NotePin S with our code ShortCircuit10 using our links down below.
The Arc Pro B70 is the top of the line GPU that's being sold by Intel, and with that it comes with the most Xe cores, 32 of them. Each of those comes with a single ray tracing unit for 32 ray tracing units. And all of this is with a total board power of
230 watts.
But the big thing is that you get 32 gigabytes of ECC VRAM. That's honestly the main differentiator of this card, and also kind of why it's a little expensive. Really, it's not competing with the B580. We've been talking about it a lot. Its real competitors are things like the RTX Pro 2000 or the Radeon Pro 9700, which is basically like the 9070 XT, but $1,000, and also has 32 gigabytes of VRAM as well. Obviously, that 32 gigabytes of VRAM is going to lend it towards doing high VRAM workloads, so not really gaming stuff, but the fact that it has so many more Xe cores means that it might actually be a substantial improvement in gaming, which I would love to check out. But first, let's just walk through some of the software. I want to see what they got in Intel Pro graphics software. It's pretty good. I think Intel's GPU software is actually really good, and maybe that's because they haven't had enough time to let it bloat to become awful. But it's easy to use. It's very simple. It's also really, really responsive, and it pretty clearly labels all of its settings. FPS limiter, frame synchronization. We're gonna go low latency mode. Precompiled shaders. Also here you can turn on or off your ECC on your VRAM. What that does is it will free up extra VRAM for you because ECC requires extra data to make bit parity so it can do those calculations. If you turn off ECC, you'll technically have more VRAM available. So if you have like a workload that you really need all of the RAM that you can get, you got the option to turn it off. You can even make a custom fan curve. This does have a 0 RPM mode, and that's nice because even at its baseline of 30% fan speed, that's not 30%. What's going on? Ain't no way that's 30. It was just going slower than that. What are you doing? What are you doing? Stop! That's 30%. That's the slowest it can be without being off. Okay? It's already pretty loud. Now, if we want to go to 100%, it being a blower fan, famously loud fans, it's going to get pretty crazy. Holy crap. What blower fans are great at is producing static pressure to push through large heat sinks, and they have to spin really fast and really loudly to blow that air, especially in a confined space. So this isn't exactly a card for a quiet gaming lounge. It is for getting real shit done, you know, getting work done. It is a workstation GPU. It's not made for a gaming lounge, but I'm really curious on how well it's going to game because it is technically the most powerful gaming GPU that Intel even sells. So we're in The Last of Us at full settings at 4K, and we're using like almost 15 gigabytes of VRAM, and that allows this thing to actually run at like 45, 30 FPS with some pretty gnarly dips in the 1% lows, just because I think we're really hammering the compute on this chip. But compared to something like a 5070, which can be found for upwards of like $650, having only 12 gigabytes of VRAM, this thing actually performs really close to that in 4K because of the VRAM limitations. If you're getting like a 5070 Ti where you have 16 gigs, you're probably going to be in the clear, but it's just a stupid limitation to see. Yes, and gaming isn't exactly the best workload to judge this card from, but there was never a discussion about the B580 having the potential to be a 4K card, whereas this thing was getting close to what I'd call playable frame rates at a 4K impressive graphical game, which is just a bummer. It's like a B580 and then some. And there's no better way to demonstrate that than looking at the test results from labs. And across our suite of gaming tests, we have a little over 50% more Xe cores on the B70 compared to the B580, and it nets us like 30-ish% across all of our games. That's pretty good scaling. Across 4 games in 1080p, we get a 34% increase to the 1% lows, 35 in average. We add 1080p ray tracing, we're seeing closer to 40 to 41% improvements. This could be huge if they sold it to the consumer market. One of the things about the Arc GPUs that's pretty interesting is that they tend to scale quite well across the higher resolutions. We see, again, in 1440, a 40% uplift in average 1% lows. It isn't exactly close to the 5070 12 gigabyte. That's still winning by about 30%-ish in 1440. Obviously, we would want to compare these to other workstation cards, but we don't actually have those workstation cards, so we're just kind of comparing them to decently relevant consumer cards. And in 4K, this thing, again, just a beast, a massive improvement over the B580. It closes the gap on the 5070. I'm not gonna act like it's caught it exactly. It is a bummer that Intel's best gaming card is trapped inside the body of a workstation GPU, which means that the pricing is just not gonna make sense for consumers. And that weird positioning kind of extends to the workstation GPU. If you want a $1,000 workstation card from NVIDIA, you only get 16 gigabytes of VRAM. If you want 32 gigs, you are looking at paying like $3,000, which is nuts. You're gonna have an easier time getting any AI stuff to work, and way better support for broader workloads because CUDA has become the industry default. On the AMD side, you have the 9700, which gives you 32 gigabytes of VRAM and is basically like a Pro 9070 XT. And that is price competitive and actually kind of bodies the B70 in terms of compute. It's just like a more powerful chip, though the B70 has better AI performance. Intel also is going to have that problem. They don't have the broad industry support. If you are very confident and you are primarily looking for an AI workload card, this is probably the cheapest way you're gonna get 32 gigs. Now we're gonna quickly run through our productivity testing. We didn't have those workstation cards to be able to test and compare from NVIDIA and AMD, but we are gonna use the same cards that we used for our gaming tests. And you can see some of the Intel support problems, like issues with our Puget benchmarks not being able to run on them properly. And you can see how this thing gets kind of slammed by AMD and NVIDIA in things like Premiere, and honestly wins a lot of the fights in the AI workloads. It really just makes AMD look kind of silly, and NVIDIA is just so limited by their VRAM, right? And also there's just gonna be entire workloads that NVIDIA can't run. But also in some of our AI workloads, you can kind of see how B580 the B70 is, because it's like not really that much better. Something to note is that we're running only benchmarks that we'll be able to run on all of these cards. That means that the compute speed is gonna come in and play a larger factor. And that's where you go like, oh, the B580 isn't that far behind considering that the B580 is $250-ish, though they are still pretty hard to find at that price. And the B70 is like, you know, $1,000. But if you want 32 gigs of VRAM for $1,000, you really only got two choices. The Arc B70 or the AMD 9700 Pro. From my perspective, it seems like a tricky spot for Intel, but I don't really dabble in these kinds of workloads in my day-to-day life, so I would love to hear from you guys in the comments what you think about the B70 and how it's positioned, and if it makes sense for people. I would love to hear what you're planning on using it for, stuff like that, because it's kind of outside of my sphere. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed this, please like, comment, subscribe, and also maybe check out another video. How about another pretty expensive but laser focused GPU like that mini 5070 that we looked at just a few weeks ago? Time